So just a warning to everybody watching, your sneaker YouTube feed is literally about to be violated with people making content on this rumored Jordan restock. So before we get things started, maybe I should hit y'all with a little thumbnail, something like, or better yet, maybe a little something like, but nah, this whole thing started with Eldon Monitors over on Twitter talking about been a while since we had one of these with the Jordan Reserve, various Jordans which we've seen drop this year as well as late last year. As y'all see, the Orchid 4s are posted up right there, them nice little pink 4s. So as far as the Jordan Reserve, you never know, but based off Eldon Monitor's track record, I think last time they posted this, we had a big Jordan restock maybe like a day or so, or a couple of days after, or something like this. So I think it's cool to maybe look into it. As far as like a Jordan restock happening, I wouldn't get my hopes too high. You know, when you look at this picture right here, as far as what's pictured here, White Cement 4s could be a possibility, you know what I'm saying? That's a pair which was one of the biggest Jordan releases of the year. So it would definitely make sense that Nike probably had some leftover pairs. But when it comes to these big restocks, you know, you may have some pairs which have a decent amount of pairs. You're not expecting to see a full size run or anything. And then for some of the more in-demand pairs, it could be even as low as just maybe like a couple hundred pairs or something like that. So it's not something to like guarantee, expect to be able to cop, but I still think it's worth your time. It's still something fun to talk about. And it's kind of cool to take a look back at what Jordans we did see drop this year. So as far as what's pictured here, of course, the two which are probably in the most highest demand, of course, you got the brick by brick Jordan 4s by Nigel Sylvester. Many people would call these sneaker of the year. I know that's a controversial take, which could trigger some people, but let's just say it's something that a lot of people are throwing out there. On top of those, of course, you got black metallic 5s, an OG classic in reimagined form, you know, just some slight tweaks to what we're used to from this model, but it seems like those little tweaks, people definitely appreciate it. And then, of course, you got the SB Jordan 4s. So some pretty hot releases right here. Well, definitely some hot releases, I should say. And then you can throw in them Travises right there. I know not as in demand and not as hot as some of the other Travis drops, but let's put some respect on this man's name. He's definitely been holding down the hype scene when it comes to Nike Jordan brand for years now. And I like the fact that he took things into a different lane, you know, trying to drop his own all original model. So big props to Trav on that one. And then we talked about these Orchid 4s, which, you know, they dropped late last year. I think they were like a little more limited, a women's exclusive drop. So you guys know how that goes right there. Now, according to Eldon Monitors, as we scroll down right here, he's talking about pictured is stuff I would like to see restock. So don't get your hopes too high on anything pictured here in this image. He's just speculating on stuff that he would like to see restock. But based off Eldon Monitor's track record and the fact that they do seem to have a lot of inside knowledge when it comes to this stuff happening, you never know. You could possibly see any of this stuff dropping. So these are all great pairs. Some other pairs which I feel like would make sense for a big, say, Jordan restock, which would hit the sneakers app. Of course, you got to go with something that just dropped recently. You got the Grape 5s. Now, with this one, I feel like Jordan brand definitely dropped a decent amount of stock. It seems like nowadays, when it comes to Jordan releases, we've had so many heavy hitters this year, you know, especially earlier on in the year, that now that we're through the halfway point, people are kind of like, you know what? I'm not about to be copping everything. You know, we got still the next half of the year to go. There's still a lot of heat dropping. So unfortunately, you know, some pairs may get a little disrespected. Some people may pass up on certain pairs like that. I've heard a lot of people say, you know, they respect this OG Jordan brand drop, but they may double back on these, you know, at a later date or something like that. So that's cool and everything, you know. You don't got to cop every pair. Like, I'm not about to be out here being like, oh, buy now, these are going to skyrocket, or like, these are going to be a problem, because nah, not every sneaker is going to be a problem like that. So I think the OG Jordan 5 Grapes would be cool with the whole restock and everything. It might be a good opportunity for Nike to move some units and everything, with people bringing all of their attention to the sneakers app for a big restock and stuff like that. So next up, we got the Soul 2.0s from Jordan brand. You know what I'm saying? These nice pair of 3s. Low key, probably one of the best Jordan 3s that we've seen drop this year. I like the way that these drop, you know, because like we did see some early images of these leak, but nobody was really talking about these. These are like a cult classic 2.0 from the Soul 1.0s. I feel like these even look better than the 1.0s, and they kind of just like popped up out of nowhere. I mean, not out of nowhere, but I think this was a little more unexpected for a lot of people. So these are dope. And as far as like a restock, I think it would make perfect sense, just due to the fact that, think about it, like these dropped, right? The 1.0s were like super limited. They had crazy resales. So, you know, the scalpers, the resellers, they were all over these joints right here. And I feel like a lot of them bought up so many pairs, and then when they were seeing that like these weren't having resale like crazy like that, I think they probably returned a lot of them joints. So if Nike has some leftover pairs in the inventory, I think it would make perfect sense to see a sneaker like this restock. And again, I said like one of the hottest threes of the year. I would say probably like my favorite pair of threes that we've seen drop so far. These are dope, man. Paying homage to the 1.0s. They got a cool backstory and history. And like colorways are dope. I feel like it doesn't go too far off from say something like a white cement 3, but it has its own little flavor of its own. So these are really cool, man. And in hand, a lot of people said that these look even better than you can see in pictures. So super underrated sneaker. Good Nike on the back. Joints are hot, man, most definitely. And then lastly, while I definitely don't think this one would happen, but this is more so just wishful thinking, but Bread 85s, like, come on, Jordan Brand. You guys know what y'all did with these ones, limited exclusively to just neighborhood locations. I know Jordan Brand got more of these pairs in the tuck somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And with this sneaker right here, there's a lot of talk about Jordan 1s being like dead and everything, and they're not hot anymore, but this one proved everybody wrong. I know they were super limited and were only released in stores and everything, but this one just proves like when it comes to a model like the Jordan 1, they're so timeless that if Nike put some stipulations behind the release, you know, making them limited and like all that good stuff, it makes y'all be like, you know what? I'm tripping. Like, we got to put some respect on these OGs right here. And it just proves that, like, you know, when people can't get what they want them. So these are dope. A lot of people would also put these on top of the year as far as like sneakers, you know what I'm saying? I would say most of the conversation when it comes to Jordan retros would be, of course, the Nigels. We mentioned those, black metallic 5s. And a lot of people also throw these into the conversation as well for sneaker of the year. And I think this is probably like the biggest release for Jordan Brand, being is the 40th anniversary. These are the ones that kind of set it off. So definitely a great pair. And although I wouldn't imagine to see Jordan Brand restock these like that, I just feel like it would be super dope, man. Just kind of more so wishful thinking. And when you talk about sneakers of the year, we got to throw in them Jordan 4s right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Best Jordans of the year, white cements, bro. Like the fact that Jordan Brand dropped enough pairs for everybody, a timeless classic. They did it the right way, shape, on point, you know what I'm saying? I think those got to be up in there. With conversation when we talk about best Jordans of the year. So Jordan Reserve possibly coming soon, based off Eldon monitors. You know, the way things have been going with their track record, I could definitely see it happening. So I wasn't gonna bombard y'all on the main channel. You know, the whole feed is gonna be just posted up with sneaker YouTubers like, big restock confirmed, Nigel Ford brick by bricks. You already know how it goes, man. So let's talk about it. Just had to throw that one in there. So Jordan Reserve could possibly happen. I just wanted to come over here on John Alexander TV to kind of chop it up with you guys and take a look back, you know, at some of the releases that we saw drop this year. But as far as the restock happening, most definitely probably happening on the sneakers app within the next couple of days or so would be my guess. And of course, you know, I don't gotta warn y'all because there's gonna be a million videos talking about this. So Jordan restock potentially coming soon. Let me know which pairs you guys would like to see return. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit this thumbs up button. You guys are watching John Alexander TV. I'll catch you guys over on the main channel. JA News coming later today. Salute, guys. I'm out. Love.